All right. I wanted to jump on here and just do a quick meet recap of the Depth Before Dishonor Open that I just did in Lawton this past weekend on the 10th. So kind of just jump into it. Prep. Nobody has a perfect prep, I don't think. At least none of the people that I've talked to have ever had a perfect prep. And I'm okay with that. I haven't had a perfect prep either, and this prep was far from perfect. But went to meet with what I had, and after a bit of a poorly executed water cut, I got there and I was able to weigh in at 238 point something, I think, 108.5 kilos, whatever that comes out to. So after weigh-ins, I just spent the rest of the day eating and drinking as much water and food as I possibly can. I don't know exactly what I got in. I do want to do a little bit better job going forward as far as the day before and the couple days before meet. I don't think I'm going to do any more water cuts, but we'll see. The water cuts for me are just, I feel like they affect my performance negatively enough to the point where even dropping 10, 15 pounds is just not going to be really worth it to me. So going forward, I'm still going to play with some things. Probably won't do water cuts, might only do sleeves for a couple meets. Anyways, that's for another video. But, so, ate and drank as much food as I could. I took a nap. I was able to take a bath. Rub myself down on all types of lotion to help my muscles kind of relax and chill out for the night. I got probably 9 hours of sleep, woke up, had some bagels, some fruit, got ready, got my wife and baby out the hotel room, got out the door, and the gym was really like a stone's throw away from the hotel, so it wasn't a far ride at all. We didn't have to get there super early. Got there, signed in, got her ticket, got Ken's wristband, everything you're supposed to do, and then waited around for a little bit for rules. Right before rules, I went and checked the flights. I was just kind of looking to see what flight I was going to be in, where at in the flight, and whatever. And lately, last couple meets, I've been near the end flights at the end with my opening attempts. So kind of figured I knew where to start looking. Started looking through the flights, and there was a name that kept popping up really close to mine the whole fucking time. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Well, and it was the same weight class. Demirius, right next to my name and throughout the flight. So I was like, I'll keep an eye out for him, I guess. So we got squats. Started with warm-ups. Warm-ups were okay, honestly. I felt strong, I felt good. I was focused. I squat wrapped for this meet, so I was waiting for Ken to get there so I could take my last few squat attempts in wraps. I don't think I took anything. I think the last raw squat I did was like 585, and then we wrapped for 2 sets, and then I opened at 733. So, my opener, 733 pounds. Yeah, I don't really know what happened with it. So I got ready, got wrapped, got out there, unracked the bar. I was like, okay, this feels pretty fucking good. Walking it out.
There you go, let's go.
Got set, took my big breath, braced, squat, went down, hit depth, came back up. And as I was standing there, waiting for the rack to move, I don't know if it was my back, my hamstrings, my glutes, something just shut off. I didn't lose consciousness, I don't think, or anything like that, but all of a sudden I just dumped the weight forward. I felt myself falling forward. And it went more and more and more, and then eventually I was like stuck up under it. The spotter's trying to help get it off of my neck and whatnot. Kind of scratched the back of my neck a little bit of bruising. What it did do was fuck my hamstrings up. They like stiffened and tightened after that. I think a lot of that had to do with my water cut, and I don't think I rehydrated properly. Because I could feel when I was out there, I was like super shaky. I was really strong, but I was super shaky. And at least to me, that means I'm missing vitamins, minerals, or water most of the time, or probably all three due to the cut. But that's just one of those things I'll dial in as I keep going, doing more and more of these competitions. But yeah, so I dumped 733. I was fine. My biggest concern when that happened was that I had done something that would not allow me to continue lifting. Not to myself, but like in the eyes of the judges or the other competitors, I really wasn't sure exactly what happened, what the rules were for shit like that. But I walked up to the table, I asked to take it again. They said yeah. As soon as I walked in the back, I immediately regretted that decision. Immediately, as soon as I said that, that was the first time I was like, oh man, dude, I don't know if I can do this. It's a weird moment for me. There was a lot of self-doubt after that. I think what it kind of ended up doing to me is I had suspicions throughout all the prep and getting to the competition that I am going or have done something wrong that's not going to allow me to get or receive the total that I wanted at the end. And as soon as that happened, for no reason, because it's never happened before, in my head I was like, okay, well, I'm fucking done here. So, but I gave him my attempt. I walked back. I did my best to try to loosen up. I talked to Ken. If Ken wasn't there, I can't say if Ken wasn't there, things would have went differently. But the fact that he was there, able to like drill in my head, don't worry about your hamstrings. They feel like that because of the reps. They're not going to fall off. You'll feel a lot better about this squat, being all beat up, going out there and still getting it and coming back and staying in this competition, stuff like that. And he's telling me all these things, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's only 733 pounds, which is a fuckload of weight, but it's my opener, and I chose it as my opener because I'm comfortable with it. I don't know how many times I've squatted that now. I'm past it, but I need to still do it again if I want to stay in this competition. It might have been a better idea to bump 10, 20 pounds, but I'm not going to do the whole what if game. So I came out, squatted it really slow, but I got 2 white lights and a red. I forget what the one red was for, but I got it, went up to the table, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not squatting 800 today, because 800 was the goal. I wanted 806, actually. Just not that day. So I took 783, and went back there, hamstrings still killing me. Still nervous about it, but I knew I could squat, so I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. So I went out there, unwrapped it, walked it out, got set, got the squat command, went down, realized real quickly, I was like, I'm pretty fucked up, this shit's really heavy. And I'm pretty sure I made a conscious decision to cut it high. That if I got it, fuck it. But any lower, I don't know if I would have been able to deadlift later. My hamstrings, the way that my hamstrings and my adductors have been feeling from the first squat, I was like, well, it's not here to risk it. I just need to stay in the competition at this point. I get to my opener deadlift, and then we can do dumb shit from there. So I stood back up with it. It was heavy as fuck. It was a grind, but I got 3 reds or whatever, or 2 reds or whatever, and then racked it, and then I was done with squats. They had another flight after me, so I had some time before I started warming up for bench, and that's when I really needed to buckle down. That's when I really needed to like talk to myself. I put my headphones on, I walked into the corner of the gym, laid down, I kind of moved around, did some very light mobility stuff, and like very light, like bending halfway over and standing back up, just trying to work my hamstrings and my glutes out, making sure everything's gonna at least fucking work enough to pick up 700 pounds. So I did that for about 30 minutes, listened to music. Music wasn't working, I couldn't get in the zone. All I kept thinking about was how fucking badly I did not want to do any more work that day. That I'd gotten in my head so deep that I don't know how the fuck I ended up pulling out of it. But I figured we'll just give it a shot. We'll start warming up for fucking bench. Start warming up for bench. Chest feels good. I pulled something a couple weeks ago up in my chest, so I'd been nervous, but did a decent little mobility thing, started warming up for bench. Went, bar 135, 225, 315, 365, and I was like, oh shit, you know what? I feel confident in my bench, which is not my most confident lift, but it was just kind of funny that day that I had it to lean on. I don't know what it was, but I felt good and I felt strong. And finished warm-ups. I think I took 405 as my last warm-up, and then I opened with 420. And went out there, got wrapped up. A lot less stress because I'm not getting my knees wrapped. I just gotta wrap my wrists, and all I gotta do is push. There's not that much fatigue in this lift, at least for me. But yeah, I got chalked up. I went out there, I hit 420. It blew off of my chest. It was easy. It's not a problem at all. Got a good lift. Went to the table, called for 440. Went back, regrouped, talked to Ken a little bit, making sure I'm staying focused. 440, I figured easy money, and then I'll make the jump to 460. So take 440, go out there.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Comes down, I get press, get the rack, I get my white lights, and everything was fine. And then I walked over to the table, called 463, because I wanted to, somewhere in this meet, I have to go find a fucking PR, otherwise it's not gonna feel like I did shit. Walked back, got ready, got set. By this point, everything was kind of moving smooth, and I felt more confident. I was in a good headspace, so there wasn't a whole bunch of things to think about other than just the next fucking attempt. So I got chalked up. I walked out there, unracked, felt good, came down, touched my chest, felt good, got the press command, and I pressed all the way to my fucking sticking point. And this is where, for whatever reason, something I have to work on before the next meet for sure, but probably for a while, next year or so. Every time I hit a fatigue or like sticking point, at least where mine is, I want to push out instead of back. And every time I push out, it just kills my fucking drive. I lose all like inertia from my initial push, and it just stalls out and it comes back down. So that's what happened. I ended 440 with bench on the day. And then after bench, there's another flight, and they were taking a break between bench and deadlift. So I had maybe about an hour or so before I needed to start warming up or doing anything for deadlifts. And at this point, I feel better, more confident. I'm excited for deadlifts because I think it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be able to pick up 700 pounds. I've done more weight in a worse condition. So I'm eating food, I'm drinking, Pedialyte, I got liquid IV packets, I got Propel packets. Just trying to eat and drink and get as much nutrition in me as possible. But I didn't have an appetite. I don't know if it's the nerves or I don't remember really eating much at any of my meets. That's probably another thing to work on, but I gotta figure out something. I want to get it down to almost like an exact science. Like I'm going to get this, because I can eat this when I feel like this. So I can eat this when I feel like this. Shit like that. I'm just trying to nitpick smaller things. But anyways, I'm able to just kind of hang out, watch some of the other lifters do their attempts. And then when we get to deadlifts, I'm looking for a spot to actually warm up. And I think it's probably a good thing to look for the guys who are around your strength level. So that's what I did. And I walked through everything, just kind of peeking to see what group I should probably jump in with. Then I found Demirius and, man, I forget this other cat's name. Ranson Lee. He looked way more like a bodybuilder. I think he only did a deadlift only. Super strong, super jacked fucking dude. But we're all deadlifting on the same bar at some point. And it's pretty quick deadlifting, warming ups, at least for me. I do some upper back stuff. I do some lower back and glute stuff if I'm tight. Other than that, I just kind of start rowing, and then I'll start deadlifting. So that's what I did. I rowed 135, 225, and then I started deadlifting 315, and I'm realizing that like, hey, my legs still hurt, my hamstrings still hurt, but there's no like pain through the lift, so I'll be good to lift. I don't think I'm risking injury or anything like that. Everything still hurt. It was still tense. I rubbed some icy hot, some like lidocaine on my hamstrings, hoping that will do something. And I think it helped a little bit, plus the Motrin. And once it came to deadlifts, I started warming up. I was fine. So we're going plate, like 315, 405, 495, 585, 675, and I think 675 was the last one that I took for a warm up before I went out there. But so I went out there, 700 pounds. I think it might have been 705. I don't remember. Easy money for me most of the time. Unless I'm having a really bad day, which I was nervous, but the way I pulled 675, I wasn't nervous anymore. So I went out there, chalked up, pulled. I got 2 white lights and I got a single red for, I think a soft lockout on my left side. And that was the side that my hamstring was super tight on. And I could tell when I stood up, I was like, my left knee was shaking. So I got a soft lockout on that side. And it was a great call. I would have done the same shit. And I felt it. Like, as soon as I did it, I knew. So, still got the lift. Go to the table. Ask, what did I call? 7:30? 7:33. Was getting ready to head out there. And definitely looking forward to doing only 2 more attempts on anything. I'm fucking exhausted. So I realized on my first attempt, because I'm talking to Ken back there after I called and anything, I looked down at my hand. That's when I ripped this callus, this first one. It was bleeding. It didn't hurt. I didn't know it until I looked down, so I just squeezed a piece of napkin and let it bleed into the napkin. And then while we're sitting there having this conversation, and we're just trying to keep me focused, thinking about the next lift and everything like that. So I told him, I was like, all I have to do is hang out, because my grip will not fail. He said, well, no matter what happens, you just don't let go of it. I said, okay. I went out there, I pulled, it got to my knees, and it stalled. Matter of fact, it went down a little bit. And it comes back up, and then I finally get it past my knees. At that point, it was already on my lift. But now it's the ego thing. And I pull, and I finally get it all the way to lockout, and I don't even have like a complete lockout. So there's no way in anybody's book this would count. And I knew it. As soon as I dropped the weight, I look at the lights, and as soon as they're red, I'm like, I knew it. But I wasn't letting go of that bar. So that's what I fucking ended that with. I go over, I got 1 more attempt left. Look at my hands, and they're just gushing blood. Gushing fucking blood. And I, as a kid, when I first started getting into powerlifting, I remember watching like Pete Rubish, and like Dan Green and dudes like in the animal cage, and their hands have just been ripped open, calluses after just disgusting fucking blood all over the place. I'm like, dude, there's no way I could fucking grab a bar like that with my hands in that state. Not a fucking chance. Especially to hold on to it, like at a max fucking weight. No. Well, I don't know if you grow up or you just forget about it, but didn't hurt that bad. Anyways, at that point I thought about scratching my 3rd attempt. I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. There's no point in fucking, trying again. I'm just gonna rip my hand open again. But dude, I wanted to quit after squats. I was nervous after bench. I'd already ripped my hand open. What do I have to fucking lose, dude? Fuck it. So I went out there, I called it again. Did the whole rope around, fucking warm up, or, stand around waiting for your attempt and your fucking turn to go. Went out there, pulled it, got it to my knees, and dropped it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it, but, I don't know. I wasn't hurt, so why not just give it a fucking shot? What if something crazy fucking happened? So it was worth it. 1878 or 1887 for the day, which is not my best total. It is not my best day. I went 4 for 9. Only got my openers and squat and deadlift. So, that's not really too much of a win in my book. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not that bad. Here's the thing, man. I went out there and I had a shit fucking day. Straight off the bat. If I can have such a shit, terrible fucking day, do all these fucking things to my body and my hamstrings and lower back, and that's the end result, and that's like the worst thing I can do, it's rude to be fucking upset about that. Like, there's every point of my life up to this point I wanted to be here. So why am I upset when I have a fucking bad day and I end up with a great result? Anyways, so the meet was over, waited around for awards. I still don't understand, I think, how they do awards or how it's classified or whatever, but I ended up winning first for the males classic raw. I think I was the only competitor. Maybe there might have been other wrapped guys, but I think I was the only one, so won that. And then waited around for like the best lifter categories, and they start like 5, 4, 3. Well, they said 3, and at that point I thought I had already calculated my dot score and they were past it, so I was like, okay, well, that's it. I'm definitely not, that's it. We'll just watch these guys get their stuff, and then I want to go take a picture in front of the banner with my family, and then we'll go. And then they called for second place. I think I was less than a single dot point away from the third place guy, and all of it, like 2 to 5, everyone was within a few fucking points of each other. Like, it was neck and neck the whole time. There's nobody, like, you can't look at that and be like, that person's better than all those people. At any given day, any given time, a pound here, a pound there, an extra pound of body fat, less pounds of fucking body weight, and all those numbers are now different. I don't think anyone was going to take that from Demirius that day. he was like over a couple hills past the rest of us that day. But as far as second to fifth, we were all super fucking close. I think everybody had over 500 dot scores, so that was cool. And I knew going into this competition, I thought seriously about it, and I looked over the past couple of years, and I was like, okay, what kind of competition comes here? Like, types of lifters, is this meet out of my range? Is it too big for me? Is it too small for me? Is this where I need to be? And that's how I ended up picking it. I figured that it's a great Rand meet. This is the, I think, 4th year in a row. 2, and there's a lot of really well-established lifters that have been through it and competed there. And I wanted to join that fucking group of people. And 3, I believed I was good enough. I deserved to be there. I believed I was competitive. I was going to be competitive there. And I was. I figured that I could place in the top 3. I think on my best day I would have been somewhere closer to number 1. But I don't want to do the whole, oh, I could have done this, could have done that, because fuck all that shit. It didn't happen. But I think any experienced lifter knows that when you have a good day and a bad day, can be 100, 150 pounds left on the platform that you didn't get to showcase. And that's fine, dude. I'm 27. I still feel like I'm young in this sport. I got so much more to fucking do. I got out of the meet. I'm unhurt. I mean, I'm banged up a little bit, but I'm not hurt. I'm not discouraged by any means. If anything, I'm more encouraged now than I've ever been for this sport, because I had a vision for myself to go there and be good enough to be competitive for a number 1 spot. On a bad day, I get to go there and take second. I'm fucking fine with that. That's okay with me. That meet, I think, is exactly where I needed to be at the right time. When they started going through awards and I heard them call my name for second, I was speechless. I had turned to my wife. I was holding my son. I was like, I went to go take them up there, but there was like shit in their hands that I was gonna have to take, so I went to go hand them back. She's like, take them up there, I'll take a picture. And I'm like, oh, there's still shit, so I gave them, I don't know, it was this weird, awkward jumble fuck of me being indecisive, because I really didn't expect my name to be called at all. And then, you know, I walked up there, and they got this dope-ass sign, and I have a fanny pack from Death Before Dishonor Squad Company, and then the gym owners like holding cash. And I was like, I knew there was like money here for this meet, but I figured, I don't know if I thought he was just gonna give me here's a couple 20s or whatever. This motherfucker gave me $1,000 in cash. I took a picture and I walked back to my wife, and I was just speechless, dude. I was like, I came here to win money and I came here to compete, but my day was such a shit fucking day, dude. All that, I stopped thinking about that from at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I never even thought about anything else. I just needed to get through the fucking meet. So anyways, yeah, I almost fucking cried and I almost laughed, and there was all these swell of fucking emotions, because I told my wife, hey, you know, I think we can go here and I think I can win some money. And then after, I just completely forgot about it and lost all hope. You go. I'm like, I don't know, that meant a lot to me. But it would have felt better, and it wouldn't have changed the placing, but it would have felt better if I had the intelligence to maybe select my attempts a little bit better and just squeeze a couple more pounds out of the fucking platform. But that's all right. I got another meet in April, the Arkansas Powerlifting Championships. So I'm looking forward to that. That meet, I think I'm going to do in sleeves. Wraps give me a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of other risk factors. I think with wraps, I will not stop wraps completely. I probably won't use them for prep for this next meet, but for a little bit, I'm going to use sleeves. And this next meet is definitely the one I'm doing in sleeves. That being said, a couple things that I want to change. First thing I want to change is my mindset. All the prep, I had a very negative view of myself and my place in this sport and like who I am. And it bled on the platform. That's part of the reason I think I had the day I did. That's also part of the reason I believe I deserve the total that I got, because I got what I trained for. That's what it feels like, because I could have done so many more things better. And I was a lot more relaxed with this prep than I was any other prep. And that kind of came back to bite me in the ass. Because even though I'm stronger than I've ever been right now, doesn't mean anything. But we can use this base to build for the next, and that does mean something. Before we wrap this up, I want to thank Ken and Buffy for driving the 6 hours out to Lawton after however long he had to drive to get to Harrison, just so they could be there to support me, wrap my knees, and help me with the shit that I needed, because I absolutely needed them there. They made my day a lot better, so thank you. Thank you, Eli and Bo. We've had a few training sessions where I've been in prep for this that have really helped kind of push me in the right direction, and I like to kind of keep that same environment of camaraderie and like, dude, try to get there on Sundays to squat, and just whenever, especially going forward. And then to my wife, or my sponsor, I guess I should say, her and my son, but I couldn't do any of this if it wasn't for her. The amount of food that I eat, stuff that I need, there's just things that she does that are even more behind the scenes that I see, and she deserves credit for that, because I don't think I'd want to do any of this if it wasn't for her. I definitely couldn't both like mentally and financially. So thank you. I do plan on making another video about my plan for prep and how going forward is going to be different than it was. Just fixing some shit that I dropped the ball on because I'm a fucking idiot. But other than that, I think that's it.